Hello again. Here's some Hans Christian Andersen. The Beetle Who Went on His Travels. There was once an emperor who had a horse shod with gold. He had a golden shoe on each foot, and why was this? He had a beautiful creature, with slender legs, bright intelligent eyes, and a mane that hung down over his neck like a veil. He had carried his master through fire and smoke in the battlefield. With the bullets whistling around him, he had kicked and bitten and taken part in the fight when the enemy advanced, and with his master on his back, he had dashed over the fallen foe and saved the golden crown and the emperor's life, which was of more value than the brightest gold. This is the reason that the emperor's horse was wearing golden shoes. A beetle came creeping forth from the stable where the farrier had been shoeing the horse. "Great ones first, of course," said he, "and then the little ones, but size is not always a proof of greatness." He stretched out his thin leg as he spoke. "And pray, what do you want?" asked the farrier. "Golden shoes," replied the beetle. "Why, you must be out of your senses," cried the farrier. "Golden shoes for you, indeed?" "Why, yes, certainly indeed, golden shoes," replied the beetle. "Am I not just as good as that great creature yonder, who is waited upon and brushed, and has food and drink placed before him, and don't I belong to the royal stables?" "But why does the horse have golden shoes?" asked the farrier. "Of course you understand the reason." "Understand? Well, I understand that it is a personal slight to me," cried the beetle. "It is done to annoy me, so I intend to go out into the world and seek my fortune." "Go along with you," said the farrier. "You're a rude fellow," cried the beetle, as he walked out of the stable, and then he flew for a short distance till he found himself in a beautiful flower garden, all fragrant with roses and lavender. The ladybirds, with red and black shells on their backs and delicate wings, were flying about, and one of them said, "Is it not sweet and lovely here? Oh, how beautiful everything is!" "I am accustomed to better things," said the beetle. "Do you call this beautiful? Why, there is not even a dung heap." Then he went on, and under the shadow of a large haystack he found a caterpillar crawling along. "How beautiful this world is," said the caterpillar. "The sun is so warm I quite enjoy it. As soon as I shall go to sleep and die, as they call it, but I shall wake up with beautiful wings to fly with, like a butterfly." "How conceited you are!" exclaimed the beetle. "Fly about as a butterfly indeed! What of that? I have come out of Emperor's stable, and no one there, not even the Emperor's horse, who was in fact wears my cast-off golden shoes, has any idea of flying, excepting myself. To have wings and fly, why, I can do that already." And so saying, he spread his wings and flew away. "I don't want to be disgusted," he said to himself, "and yet I can't help it." Soon after, he fell down upon an extensive lawn, and for a time pretended to sleep, but at last fell asleep in earnest. Suddenly a heavy shower of rain came falling from the clouds. The beetle woke up with the noise, and would have been glad to creep into the earth for shelter, but he could not. He was tumbled over and over with the rain, sometimes swimming on his stomach and sometimes on his back, and as for flying, that was out of the question. He began to doubt whether he should escape with his life, so he remained quietly lying where he was. After a while the weather cleared up a little, and the beetle was able to rub the water from his eyes and look about him. He saw something gleaming, and he managed to make his way up to it. It was linen, which had been laid to bleach on the grass. He crept into a fold of the damp linen, which certainly was not comfortable a place to lie, as in the warm shade, but there was nothing better, so he remained lying there for the whole day and night, and the rain kept on all the time. Toward morning he crept out of his hiding-place, feeling in a bad temper with the climate. 2 frogs were sitting on the linen, and their bright eyes actually glistened with pleasure. "Wonderful weather this," cried one of them, "and so refreshing. This linen holds the water together so beautifully that my hind legs quiver as if I were going to swim." "I should like to know," said another, "if the swallow who flies so far in her many journeys to foreign lands ever met with a better climate than this. What delicious moisture! It is as pleasant as lying in a wet ditch. I am sure anyone who does not enjoy this has no love for his fatherland." "Have you ever been inside the Emperor's stables?" asked the beetle. "There the moisture is warm and refreshing. That's the climate for me, but I could not take it with me on my travels. Is there not even a dunghill here in this garden, where a person of rank like myself could take up his abode and feel at home?" But the frogs either did not or would not understand him. "I never ask a question twice," said the beetle. After he asked this one 3 times and received no answer, then he went on a little further and stumbled against a piece of broken crockery wire, which certainly ought to not have been lying there, but as it was there, it formed a good shelter against wind and weather to several families of earwigs who dwelt in it. Their requirements were not many. They were very sociable and full of affection for their children, so much so that each mother considered her own child the most beautiful and clever of them all. "Our dear son has engaged himself," said one mother. "Dear innocent boy, his greatest ambition is that he may one day creep into a clergyman's ear. This is a very artless and lovable wish, and being engaged will keep him steady. What happiness for a mother!" "Our son," said another, "has scarcely crept out of his egg when he was off to his travels. He is all life and spirits. I expect he will wear out his horns with running. How charming this is for a mother, is it not, Mr. Beetle?" For she knew the stranger by his horny coat. "You are both quite right," said he, so they begged him to walk in, that is, to come as far as he could under the broken piece of earthenware. "Now you shall also see my little earwigs," said a third and fourth mother. "They are lovely little things and highly amusing. They are never ill-behaved except when they are uncomfortable in their inside, which unfortunately often happens at their age." Thus each mother spoke of her baby, and the babies talked after their own fashion, and made